Hello everybody and welcome back to another Genshin Impact video. In today's video, I wanted to go over my thoughts on what I want Ayato to be, so we can see the difference between what I wanted and then what he actually is. Before we do get into this video, can you guys please subscribe? Currently we're at 207 subs, so if you want to sub, thank you, and if you don't, then hopefully I can earn it by the end of this video. Now, I want Ayato, first of all, to be a main DPS. If he's not a main DPS, then it's just... he's probably going to be a support character, which Hydro support actually is decently good because, you know, Vaporize exists. And I think it would help out a lot. But we already have Xingqiu, which is a 4-star. A 5-star doing the exact same job as a 4-star, hopefully better. Xingqiu is really good. I'm not really too big of a fan of them just making it... I don't know. I'm not really too big of a fan of them just making... a 4-star, but like it's a 5-star. So hopefully they actually do put in some main DPS capabilities, which, I mean, his sword in the image that we've seen looks like it would be a Hydro sword. So it looks like he's gonna have a main DPS with infusion, which is another thing that I want. I want him to infuse his attacks, whether it's through his E skill or his ult. Either I want it to be like Ito, where it's his ult and it gives him a whole bunch of attack because of his stance change. I doubt that it's an actual stance change. He looks like he's just going to be a flat out sword user. Hopefully he is a regular DPS where he just either presses his E skill or he does his ult and it gets infusion. Hopefully he scales off of something different other than attack, because those units tend to be just way better. I doubt that it will be defense since we just got Ito, but we haven't gotten an HP scaling character in a while. Last one was Hu Tao, actually, so we could get another HP scaling character, so I'm going to pick that as my, what I want him to scale as. I want him to get Hydro damage bonus as his Ascension stat, so Hydro damage bonus helps him out, would help out a lot. I imagine that they're going to release another artifact set with this, so I don't want to put too much emphasis on, oh yeah, I want him to work with this artifact set. Probably best set for him is going to be Shiwanawa's if you're making him a main DPS. But I want him to be sort of built like Ayaka, but I want his ult damage to be cut in half. Well, his ult damage over time to be cut in half. I don't know how to say this. I want his damage to be the same as Ayaka's ult, but I want the duration to be longer. I want his ult to be the Hydro version of Ayaka's, but have double the duration. So while, yes, Ayaka gives 2 times damage for basically 5 seconds for Pyro characters, Ayato is going to give Hydro for Vaporize. He's going to give a 1.5 times, which is going to help out for Vaporize. And I mean, that seems reasonable. Just, maybe the damage is lower. I don't know. His E skill, like I said, I think he should just infuse like Yoimiya, honestly. I think it'd just be E skill animation and then you're good. For his, for his passive talents, I think I want him to just have a whole bunch of crit rate built in. So I found that you can get a lot of crit damage, but it doesn't seem the same way with crit rate. Most of the characters that I have built have over 200% crit damage. However, their crit rate suffers a lot because of it. And this is Ganyu, so let me look at my Ganyu build here. So this is Ganyu. She has 159, but her crit rate is 66. The only reason her crit damage is lower than 200%, is because she has an attack percent base stat weapon, or substat weapon. However, you look at Yoimiya, and it's like, oh, here's 198 with 75% crit damage. Crit rate is the best stat to scale off of. I just don't think that they're going to release Ayato with crit rate. I want them to, but I don't think they will. I think they're going to do Hydro damage bonus, and hopefully they give him a lot. And then also we go to my Ito, and he has 184 with 72% crit rate. And then we go to Hu Tao, and she has 64% with 206. This is where I want him to have crit rate built in. This is the reason why, because Hu Tao, 200% crit damage, but 64% crit rate. And I mean, I have all these stats. Like, this is the only one that doesn't have crit rate on it, I think. Yeah, that's the only one that doesn't have crit rate on it. So I have all these, and I just want him to get crit rate like Ganyu does. So maybe when his ult is up, you can have crit rate built in. So it's sort of like this, but with crit rate. Also, I want him to work with reactions in his actual kit. I want him to have, like, if you hit Vaporize, it gives you, let's say, 20% Hydro damage bonus. If you hit Electrocharged, it gives you, like, 200 Elemental Mastery or something. Maybe those could be flipped around. I don't know. But I feel like if you did one of those two, it would work out pretty well. So, he's gonna work well with Beto, I imagine, as a main DPS, so working well with Beto is good. He's work well with Raiden, maybe, depends on how good his ult is, or how much it costs. So Ayato, I want him to have just crit rate built in, and then also I want him to have something to do with reactions. While reactions exist in the game, they don't really do anything with the characters that use reactions. There's no real thing that buffs, other than, like, the Animo characters. Other than Animo characters that trigger a whole bunch of reactions, they don't really do anything with, like, Cryo, Hydro, Pyro, Electro. They don't do anything when they proc reactions. Only the Animo characters have gotten that, and I think they should spread that out to, like, Hydro or something. Because Hydro and Electro are two weak elements that would work well if given the opportunity to have good reactions. I don't know. It just... The whole thing is, Vaporize and Melt is, like, one of the strongest things in the game. I mean, look at this. Like, I'm doing, like, 70+K damage to a guy who has sort of damage reduction. It's just... It's crazy, man. I don't understand. But, yeah, I just think that they need to add sort of buffs for when you actually do reactions. Because not only will it help out new players understand, like, oh, yeah, your reactions are really good to have, but it'll help out just in general for these Hydro and Electro. Like, we need buffs for Hydro and Electro, and it needs to be in the reactions, not the resonance. Well, and the resonances too, but just we need buffs for Hydro and Electro, and it's just I don't think we're getting them anytime soon unless they actually start doing this with Electro characters and Hydro characters. They could also make them not reliant on reactions and have them be like Yoimiya, where he attacks so fast that his ICD is bad. But obviously don't want that. I don't know. Maybe just buff his Electro Charge reactions, even though it's going to be pretty good comp, because Beto is going to work really well, I imagine, with this guy, considering he's a sword user who's going to be doing a lot of normal attacks. Unless he's built like a Ching and Hu Tao, who you want to do charge attacks with. Hopefully he's not. Hopefully he's not. I don't want him to be a charge attack character, unless they don't make him consume stamina. If they make him consume stamina, it's not going to be that fun. I don't like using Hu Tao too much, just because with her charge attacks, if you have to travel and, like, go across Spiral Abyss for, like, multiple enemies, it's so hard to do that because her stamina is always running out. However, if they make him like Ito, and they make him have maybe... They could make him have a specific thing where, like, his charge attacks will be different, and he gets, like, this. And if they do that, and maybe it's, like, a whole bunch of slashes with, like, one hand, and it's just on the one enemy, which is another thing. Like, he's not going to have that big of an AoE, so his damage needs to be really, really, really good. Because Ito, he has a huge AoE when he attacks. He's doing, like, 40k across a whole AoE, and then he's going to hit for 70k, and he can even hit two people with his blower. I've seen that happen. It's just, you're looking at a lot of damage with his AoE, and he's doing some of the highest numbers in the game. So I think if they make him an AoE character, possibly, I don't know how they would do that. I think maybe his ult just needs to be what Ayaka's is, and that's basically his AoE. But I don't know how they would do an ult. Maybe he's gonna have Tartaglia's ult, or Tartaglia's ult, but the Tartaglia weekly boss who summons, like, a giant whale. Maybe he's like Zhongli, like it's a Zhongli type move where he can, like, stun enemy, petrification, with the meteor, but it's like a fish or a whale or something. Probably the best set for him, if we're gonna go with Hydro DPS, is probably gonna be this. So I imagine they're coming out with better ones, but this is technically the best set for my Ayato that I'm saying. So yeah, hopefully Ayato is really good DPS. That's all I want from him, really. I want crit rate, and then I want really good DPS. That's all I care about. So lately, they've been really good at designing characters, because you have Ito, Shinha, and Yunjin. Yunjin's great. Shinha, she's good for like if you're using Ganyu with a single target enemy, because hitting multiple enemies with Ganyu is iffy whether you're gonna actually. It's iffy whether the buff is actually worth having her on your team. But Shinha is definitely a good designed character, just not top tier. So yeah, I have faith that miHoYo is gonna be able to design this character pretty good. I mean, Miko looks pretty good with her ult spamming. If you're able to spam her ult, we don't actually know, but if you could spam her ult with the E skills, it just resets your E skill. So I imagine she's gonna work well with Raiden, because you're gonna throw down all your guys, use your ult, and then all of them are gonna get destroyed. Throw down your other 3 guys, get to Raiden, and then slash for 7 seconds, get the energy, and then come back out and have your energy completely back. But yes, that's going to be it for this video. Make sure to subscribe if you did enjoy, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.